Hello everyone, welcome to another session of the Advanced AI program. Welcome to the Intro to Brainstorming, Low Fidelity Prototyping and Evaluation. Here I put a link of my past reports for your reference. You can see mentioning of all three steps. Here again is the foundational materials that you can rely on to learn more about these steps, the human-computer interaction class on Udacity. The first step I want to describe further is design alternatives through brainstorming. There are two types of brainstormings, individual brainstormings and group brainstormings. The goal of brainstorming is to generate a lot of ideas and later on select and further develop the best ideas or form a new ideas based on these ideas that you generated during brainstorming. Research showed that it is better to start with individual brainstorming to achieve the better design results. The sequence of doing individual brainstorming first and then group storming later can increase creativity, productivity, and reduce bias. Group brainstorming, while very productive and necessary in many cases, has many challenges and influences on the participants. To list a few that is important to notice: social loafing. It is a tendency to put in fewer efforts in a group than working alone. Another one is conformity, a tendency to agree and follow the group's reasoning and ideas, the herd effect. The third one is production blocking. It's a tendency of someone to block others in discussion. And you may notice people like this in your day-to-day work. Last one I want to mention is the power dynamics. It's a tendency to defer to more senior individuals or the senior individuals overpower the less senior ones. So these are all the challenges of a group brainstorming. That's why if you start with an individual group brainstorming, you may achieve better result, which followed by a group brainstorming. In our project, please start with individual brainstorming, then move on to group brainstorming and discussion. The second step I want to introduce you to is the low-fidelity prototypes. Low-fidelity prototypes are very important for efficiently finding the right direction of the solution. In technical talent-driven projects, it often happens that prototyping efforts directly jump to coding practice, which is very costly before figuring out the user value and design. In addition, the investment in coding the prototype will skew the team's judgment on the right solution. The team often falls into the trap of sunk cost. We already invest this much building it, it better to be the right solution, and I'd like to overlook all the other solutions and keep pursuing it. I'm pretty sure you encounter this one time or the other in your workplace. It is strongly encouraged for projects, especially those user-facing ones, to start with low-fidelity prototypes, high-fidelity prototypes, and then progress to coding. Low-fidelity prototypes are sometimes even ignored in many companies' product and design community. They serve very important and powerful functions, so they should definitely not be ignored. At work, a technical talent like you may often get exposure to high-fidelity prototypes, such as a wireframe. You will rarely see the low-fidelity prototyping process, so here, let's get to know them more and practice ourselves. The type of low-fidelity prototypes typically include verbal prototypes, paper prototypes, Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is a very interesting prototype. I encourage you to look it up in the video. It is typically very suitable for voice command interface. Below is an example of a paper prototype. The user interface is simply drawn on a paper, and the drawing can be changed in real time based on user feedbacks during the interviews later, which we're going to mention in the prototype evaluation. To introduce in this video is a prototype evaluation. There is a qualitative, semi-quantitative, and quantitative evaluation methods. A typical semi-quantitative evaluation is a survey. Typical quantitative evaluation methods include A/B testings, multi-arm banded, and other methods. Qualitative evaluation is very similar to methods we introduced during the need finding exercise, such as interviews and focus groups, think aloud, post-event protocols. Talk about the homework for today. First, please watch the below sessions of the Human-Computer Interaction class on Udacity. The design alternatives, prototyping, evaluation. Second, planned individual brainstorming. I have an example here, and you can also find this example in my previous reports. The link is at the very top of this page. Then perform the individual brainstorming. Here is an example of the individual brainstorming outcome, so you can simply draw down your ideas on the papers. It is beneficial to have a brainstorming in different times. And you can see this brainstorming was done in 3 different days. Try to reach 20 ideas for each of those brainstorming sessions. After that, perform group brainstorming and decide on an idea to pursue for low-fidelity prototyping. Then create 3 low-fidelity prototypes using 1 or more prototyping methods. Then perform user interviews to gather feedbacks on the prototypes and modify the prototypes accordingly for your later usage. Congratulations! Now you have a great idea and a potential solution to pursue. We'll start on the technical journey in the next class.